Well, good morning, Chancellor Telfer, distinguished faculty, proud parents, and most of all, graduates. You have my deepest congratulations, and before I go any further, I'd like to say, how about Casey McCall? It's a delight to be with you all here today. This is one of the most exciting things I've done in a while. It's good to be back on campus. I'd like to say at the outset that we do share a common bond. I am one of you. It seems like time flies, but not long ago, I was a freshman living in Wells Tower. You guys know where that place is? Yeah, me too. I remember it very well as a freshman, and I remember the winters walking down to the academic buildings thinking I was going to freeze to death. But many, many great memories come out of that experience being a freshman starting in the Wells Tower on campus. And occasionally I'd not only walk down to the academic buildings, but occasionally I might walk down to Mitchell's Tap, where some of you may have found your way occasionally as well. But one of the things that I'd like to tell you is that I've also been walking the wide, wide path that leads from here upon your graduation now. And I can assure you, it is a most amazing walk that you have ahead of you, no matter what path it takes. Some of you here today may see that path in very sharp relief. And to some of you, it may seem a little bit unclear and foggy, and that's not unusual. But I assure you, just as I found my way, you will do it too. And I've had a chance to reflect over the last couple of weeks thinking about that, and I think that the common issue that you and I have going for us is that finding that path and going through that exercise, you have the tremendous foundation that you will be standing on that this university has given to you. That's what I had, and that is what has served me very, very well as a launch pad to find my path. We all came here from different backgrounds. I think Chancellor Telfer talked a lot about the demographics of the university, and I thought I'd just share a little bit about myself with you. I came from suburban Chicago, a very working class suburb, Forest Park. My father was a bus driver. I'm a first-generation college grad, and I suspect a number of you might be too, and that's a wonderful thing. I lost my father when I was 8 years old. My mother and my maternal grandmother raised me, and there were some difficulties, and I'm sure that many of you have difficulties that you could reflect on, that you were involved with before you got here to this university. And no matter what our backgrounds, no matter where you came from or how you got here, the fact that you did get here and you've enjoyed a great education here is a magnificent bond that you and I now share. And what I'd like to do is tell you three things that I think may help you in not only finding your path from here, but discerning what you might do in branches in the road as they face you in life when you leave here. The first thing I'd like to tell you, and I mean this with my whole heart, is that without question, you can compete with anyone from any university. The faculty and this university, but particularly what I think the DNA of a university is its faculty, and I think a lot of them are sitting right over here, have assured with the education they've provided you that you can do that. And when I look back on my experience here, what I believe is the faculty of this university just didn't fill you and I with a bunch of facts and figures within our disciplines of study. But I really believe they deeply attempted to teach us how to think. How to think, not what to think. And I would tell you now, whether or not you realize it, never before have your powers of analysis, of reason, of vision and perspective been as high as they are today when you prepare to leave here. And I think that's part of what this university has done for you, and that will continue to grow as you go forward. I really believe, from my experience here, that that job, that task of educating you and teaching you how to think has been the life's work of the faculty of this university. That's why they're here. And that's exactly what I experienced when I was here. In fact, two of my professors that were my mentors, that were my guiding lights here, that made such a difference in my life, are here today, and I'd like you to welcome them back home. Professor Daniel D. Piazza and Professor John O. came back today after being my professors here at the university, and I appreciate that. Now, when I say you can compete with anyone, I really mean it. You can compete with people from Harvard, from Yale, and yes, even that wonderful university 50 miles north of here. You will have no trouble with that because of how you've been prepared. You know, Dr. Seuss had it right. In that great book, The Sneetches, remember that book? Our parents all probably read it to us. The Sneetches with stars on their bellies thought that made them superior. And there's some people out there who will think that way, academically. But just as Dr. Seuss taught us that that kind of prejudicial thinking is wrong, it applies to the academic realm as well. And you have received a superior education here. And Dr. Seuss had it right. Now, academic snobbery, if you will, or elitism is out there. I experienced it. My senior year, I wanted to get a summer internship in Washington, D.C. upon graduation with the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, who I already had some experience with, thanks to this university. Somebody from Cambridge, from Boston, came here to the university to interview me. The first thing I was asked in that interview is, well, look, David, how do you think you can possibly compete with all the kids from Harvard who want this same position as you do? Well, I was really thunderstruck by that question, and I thought for just a second, and my answer was innocent but true. I said, how can I not compete with them? How can I not compete with them? Now, I didn't get that job. That's kind of a speed bump that you can encounter in life. But now, at this point, when I stand here before you, a graduate of this university, I can tell you that the kids from great schools, just like this one, from Harvard, from Yale, they send me their resumes to see if they can get a job. And I give them a fair shake. The second thing I'd like to tell you is keep your eyes on the prize, your goals, as you think it through, as you develop them. You will have great successes. That's not a panacea, that's the truth. But along with that, you will, and I think Casey McCall hinted at it, you will encounter speed bumps along your route. You'll have some failures. And believe me, I'm here to tell you that's okay. That's okay. Right now, as you start out, the economy's a bit tough. Getting a job is not the easiest thing in the world for those of you who are going into the employment realms right away. But it is improving. We've had 5 months of job growth, and it's going to get better. And that's not just me saying it, it is. But Babe Ruth once said, "Every strike brings me closer to my next home run." And the Babe was onto something. He knew he was going to strike out and have failures, but he learned from it. He learned how the pitcher was throwing a curveball when the fastball was coming, and he improved every time. It's how you deal with the setbacks that you will encounter that will really help you. It brings to mind Samuel Beckett's famous quote, "Ever tried, ever failed, no matter. Try again, fail again, fail better." What was Beckett telling us? Beckett was telling us, learn from our setbacks. Don't get discouraged. Perhaps putting a more contemporary spin on it, Tavis Smiley, the NPR commentator and 20-year broadcaster, has a new book out. Just got published, I think, this month. It's called Fail Up. And what Tavis is really talking about, he said, when you fail, learn your lessons from it and use them as stepping stones to climb up ever higher. Fail up. Learn from them, and you will continue to climb up the ladder of success. And I have found that to be very, very true. The third thing I'd like to mention is the subject of change. To me, there are two kinds of change. One kind may be out of your hands. It may come to you through a speed bump you meet in the road, and the world will change things for you. The second one, to me, is key. It is independently caused by you, by your choice to change. And my advice is, seek your passion. Don't settle. Make changes when you find that you're engaged in activities professionally that aren't your passion, that aren't fulfilling, that aren't satisfying. I assure you, everyone in the back two-thirds of this room will be so happy and proud of you if you do that, because that's what they want for you. They've worked hard for you. They want you to find your passion. Don't you dare ever let anyone tell you you can go no further, you can do no better, you can go no higher. And do not, under any circumstance, let your environment that you find yourself in tell you that either. If you ever face that, you make change. Change is scary. It's uncomfortable to human beings, I think. It causes uncertainty to enter one's life. But I assure you, the risk is worth it. I have changed law firms 4 times, and it was exceedingly difficult and divisive every time I did that. But it was worth it, and it was the right thing to do. I didn't always have the courage to do it, but thank goodness my wife Cynthia is a heck of a supporter, and she got me on the right path. I've also changed the discipline I've practiced in law 5 times. And each time I felt, after doing it for a couple of years, I wasn't happy. In fact, you could have said I was miserable. And I kept changing till I found my passion in the law. And every day I get up, I can tell you, is a joy. And I want that for you. And to make sure you do that, you have to be willing to pull the trigger and make change when it's not fitting you. Don't be afraid. And if you don't, just think about that. If you don't, the world will be dictating to you what you do rather than you making choice. And part of what this university has given to you is a tremendous education to give you the ability to make choices and judgments, and you go out and you do that. Now, I talked about the paths that lead from here, and they are infinite, and you will find yours. And the world that awaits you is simply, utterly fantastic that you will be in as a graduate of the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Just think about the changes in the last 60 days. In Saharan Africa, in the Middle East, we couldn't have imagined it. That's monumental change, and you're going to be vividly a part of whatever is happening. You are ready to enter that world. Now, my advice to you, my wish for you, is that you now go out and make that happen. Thank you very much.